Okay, I've got a few pieces of scraps that I'm trying to figure out something to do with. And I was starting to do some work and I thought, well, maybe I should start filming it. I don't know how this is going to end up, but I don't even know if it's going to work. But what I had was a piece of wood that I've just had for a while. It was a leftover from something we did from the renovations we're doing in our house. So I cut it down to a smaller size. What size did I actually do that? Hold on. This is 5 by 6. Now, I also have this hinge that came off of an old kitchen cabinet from our old house, and I saved those, and I wanted to incorporate it in here somehow. Then I also have these sticks, and I cut one down to be the same a length of this, and that I ended up with this. And so I want to somehow turn this into a cover to my journal. Not sure exactly how I'm going to do it yet, but that's the goal. We may not achieve it, but at least you know what my goal is. All right, so I've already painted this and this, and then I had this piece. You may have seen these at Michael's, and one day they had, I think they were all the way down to 10 cents. It was sometime when they were doing their clearance. So this, I believe, is a hydrangea, and so I also painted the front of this white. So what we're going to do right now is I'll go ahead, let's finish painting up the back of this, and then what I want to experiment on, I haven't done it before, but I'm going to see how it works out. I have some of the glimmer mists of various colors. Oops, good stuff. Of various colors, and what I'm going to do is see what it looks like painting that hydrangea. I have a couple of colors I think that would really look nice, and so we'll paint this up, and then we'll do the hydrangea. What we're trying to do is find different ways of using products that we already have, and not necessarily in the traditional way. The sprays, usually, you know, you spray them over usually something that's already done to give it that nice color and that nice sheen to it. But I'm going to try and do it straight onto that and see if it works. I mean, it may not, but we will find out together. Alrighty, so this is done. Let me put that in the water. Let's get this. And I've got a couple of colors here. Hold on a second. I have a little swatch thing I made. I have these colors that I think will look pretty cool. This is Cranberry Zing, and I sprayed that on here. And those of you that have these kinds of flowers, you know, all the different purples and blues that a lot of the hydrangeas have. So I'm going to try and incorporate that color. And then I have the color Pomegranate, and that looks like this. Now that's on this paper, so we're going to find out what colors they turn on the wood that I have there primed with the white. Don't know how that'll work, but we'll find out. I think it'll look pretty cool. I'm going to shake this up so we can get the glimmer. then I'm just going to dip in there like you would any other paint, and let's see what happens. Well, it still holds a nice color. Still nice and bright. Let that soak in there, and let's vary it because the different flowers come out different colors. I don't know if you have any of these glimmer mists yourself. I think most people have some. There's always new colors coming out. And so I want to see how this one works out. The only time I've used this color is there on that swatch. So we'll learn together here if this works out or not. Then for the inside of the book, I haven't completely figured out what I'm doing yet, but I have some of this, where is it? Corrugated, got it here. Cardboard, white, that I'm going to incorporate somehow. And then I have some homemade paper that I want to be part of the journal. Again, how that all works out, I'm not sure. Hey, this is looking pretty cool, don't you think? Whoa! Well, I had a big oopsie. I dropped the bottle. Fortunately, not too much fell out, but see, I can't talk and function at the same time. Oh well. Okay, so let's go to the next color now. We have enough of that. Well, we got more than enough on the table. All right, let's see. Shake it up because all that glimmer that is on the bottom. Ooh, it's a pretty color. All right. All right, let's see what this looks like. Ooh, pretty. I like it. Yeah, I think this is going to work just fine. So those of you that have in the garden, you know this is exactly what they look like. Just a few shades off from each other. Mine right now, my plants themselves, I cut them back last fall, and I cut them back to maybe about 2-3 feet. They were like about 6 feet, and now they're back up to about 4 feet, and they are full of buds right now, so I can't wait for them to open. Everything's going to be opening early around here because we really didn't even have a winter. And the past couple of weeks we've had lots of rain, so all the plants are very happy. Okay, I think I'm going to like this. And then what I might have to do after it's all dry is maybe put some kind of a satin varnish over it, maybe. Maybe. Okay, now I want to stick another color on there. I don't know, I always like to do threes. Don't know why, I just do. Let's see. Maybe I want to put a little bit of yellow, because they always have a little bit of yellow in them. Yellow, green. And let's put a little bit of that in there. And see how that looks. Okay. Well, it's just getting muddy. Yeah, I keep forgetting that these are water soluble, so it's just going to get muddy on me. But you know what? I don't care. Because again, those flowers are so variegated, it doesn't matter. I think I like it. Yeah, I think I do. Yep. Let's see what happens on the dark one. Oh yeah. See, that's really how they look. Oh, I'm liking this. I wasn't sure if it was going to work. But see, the more you play with it, the more realistic the flowers are starting to look. See, I have a good idea sometimes. Oh yes, this looks so more real than before. It gives a lot more dimension. Okay, I think I'm going to leave this alone, and then when I put the sealer on it, it'll give some depth, some more depth to those colors. Okay, so that I would call done. Okay, so we have this done. And what happened to my, oh, I'm going to say, what happened to my, it's still wet. Of course, I'm impatient. I'll put it on the back part. Oh yeah, look, this is going to look pretty cool. All right, I'm happy. All right, so, let me put this over here, and I got to get something clean to put on here because I'm going to be working with the white. So, okay, so what I'm going to do with this, okay, it's going this way, right? Yeah, it's going to go this way. I have, okay, where'd it go? Hope I didn't lose it. Oh, here we go. I have this rub-on. I'm going to use a rub-on from 7 Gypsies Architectures. And this one is called Grow. And it has a lot of neat stuff in there. The sheets are really big, as you can see. They're pretty cool. And like I said, they're rub-ons. And I cut out one of the rub-ons, and it's this right here. And what I decided I wanted to do was use the stem to be the stem of this flower. So I think if I do something like that and that, might work. Let's just go for it. See what happens. There's always paint and other rub-ons. I can always cover it up. And let's use one of these biggies to rub that in there. Now the bottom is kind of textured, So I gotta rub a little harder to get all into the little grooves. Say, aw. I hate when the doctors use these. I always feel like I'm gonna gag. And my husband, he couldn't care less. Open wide, stick the thing down his throat. He couldn't care less. My husband's one of those, I think, rare men that has absolutely no phobia about the doctors. He'll go, no problem. I'm more the type to say, I'll go next week. Okay, this is going on pretty good. Uh-oh, I think I'm out of frame, right? I just realized I might be totally out of frame. Well, I had to keep it close to me so I can get this done. Okay. Ooh, see? And then this will go up there somehow like that. Okay. Okay. I see this coming together. I think I'm going to like it. And then I'm going to attach this and this somehow. And then this will give it the garden feel. Almost kind of simulating a gate, but not really. That's kind of what I was thinking. But, okay. This might work. This might work. I'm happy. And then I have these papers. Now what I did is I got this, cut 2 exact pieces of the same size, and then I glued them together, but I had one go this way and the other one go this way to make it more stable. Otherwise, you know, it just goes into a roll. And I needed it to be a little more stable. So I have one going this way and one going the other way. Then, what I did is then I flattened it all out to give it these little ridges. And I wanted to use it that way. I didn't want it to be so bulky. And then I also have some of this paper, this handmade paper. And I'll have these like every other page. Now on these, I'm still not sure what I'm going to do. I think what I want to do is the technique that I did with the napkins. And these napkins, I did it in another video where it was glued down to cardboard. But I thought that this would give it a really nice texture. And I'm going to try and see if I can antique it once it's done. I'm not too sure. Like I say, I haven't done this before and I'm just kind of winging it. Then for the other pages, these, I have these papers. I haven't decided what I'm going to use yet. But I have these papers. These are my canvas cork. And these are all spring, obviously, spring related, flowers. Here's another one. And here's a different type, which is also very springy. And this one. So between all of these, I'm going to probably see how it works out painting these also with the Glimmer Mist. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, well, I'll figure something else out. Maybe I'll just use those as an accent color. And then once I decide which one of these papers I'm going to use, I'll probably take a couple of pictures from each one, each different one. And then those somehow, I don't know yet how, I'm going to probably mount them on this paper, because on this one I want to put the napkins. That's the plan right now. What I actually end up doing, I'm not too sure yet. Alrighty, so I will be back. I'm going to decide which ones of these I actually use, and then we'll pick it up from there. Okay, we have had a technical malfunction. I videoed a bunch of the rest of the process, and I don't know where it is. I put it on the computer. I think I recorded it. I think I downloaded it. I don't know. But all I can say is that this little project has been one problem after another. But I think at the end of the day, it'll be cute. I hope. Alright. Now, I've incorporated a little bit of everything, because the last swap that I organized had to do with napkins, remember, and gluing it down. So in what I did with that corrugated paper, that's what I went ahead and done. So this is a page with the napkin. I don't know if you can, live it's real obvious, you know, you can see the bumps and the valleys in there. And so once I started doing this, I realized I wanted to do this for another swap that I'm in right now, that I'm supposed to be using textiles, and I'm supposed to be using the salvage edge of the material. So I decided that I was going to incorporate that into this project, and that was going to be my swap. Good intentions. Like I said, everything has been going wrong with this. But I do have the pages done with the napkins. And then I came back and I put an edge of the salvage piece there. Then the alternate pages, what I did is I created a pocket with those salvage edges. And those papers that I showed you at the beginning, what I'm going to do is I cut up the pieces. I'm not coloring any of them, so that my partner, this will be like a little coloring book for her. And it the theme will be like we saw, were the spring things, the flowers and planting and bugs and such. So one of the things that I cut out, it has plants and smile, and it has some grasshoppers or crickets. And then here is the one of the flower cards that was there that I cut out. So that's that page. And on the flip side, some more of that paper, I sewed around it and I glued it just on one side so you could tuck in another card or something. And then some of the other sayings that were in there, I also just put a little piece of fabric behind it, keeping with the theme that this is supposed to be within my sewing group's swap. I think that's what I'm trying to say. I'm so flabbergasted with all the crazy things been going on, but we are going to continue moving on. Here's another napkin page, and the salvage. I can get the words out. Napkin. Salvage pocket. I've got some more things for her to color. And some more. some more salvage pockets and some more cards for her to color. Beehive. Napkin with salvage. And this one has watering can, some more flowers. Enjoy a little garden therapy. I think I'm going to need that after I'm done with this. More salvage. And the birds and bees. Find your happy place. Oh yes, I need my happy place. Born to garden, forced to work. Okay, and then this is going to be the back page. Alright, so when I was making the front page, I had a plan. The plan did not work. This is now going to be my front page. I originally wanted this to open, so I made it so that there was a little gap. I put the hinge. I filmed all this, but like I said, I don't know where it is. I drilled little holes, and I put in these clasps. Is that what they are? I don't even know what you call them. Anyway, put those in there, and I let it dry. When I went to open it, because this hinge is so old, a big crack developed here, and it was just, there was just no balance to it. It was not going to work. So I thought, well, I want the look, what am I going to do? So I ended up just gluing the whole thing onto one of those handmade papers, because it's pretty thick. And so this will be the cover, and I won't have the flexibility of opening it up. So I wanted to put little clothespins, and I thought that this would kind of incorporate all of the things that I think about when I think about springtime. I think about the flowers, I think about the bugs. This to me reminded me of a gate. I think of gates out in the garden. And then I think of hanging clothes out to dry in the nice warm air. So this kind of incorporated all my thoughts of spring. And that's my cover. Okay, so now that my cover has changed, the way it opens, now the whole way that I'm going to put the journal together had to change, because now my original concept's not going to work. So now what I'm going to do is, if you saw my video where we put together the napkin journal, where I did the hinges with material, that's what I'm going to do. That's how I'm going to put this together. And yeah, so that's the next step. I'm not going to film it because it's probably going to get messed up again. But if you go to my napkin journal, I show how to make the hinges out of the fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I will be back. Alrighty, well, this journal is finally done. It's been a process in the respect that my sewing machine broke down, work took me away, my swap partner has been extremely patient with me, and it's finally done. Now, this is in my textile group that I am swapping this, but I wanted to incorporate a lot of different things in addition to the requirement in the swap, which was to use the ends of the fabric, that selvage end. I did include that in every page, some way or another. So, let's begin. I had these left over from another project that I had done. These are those wood pieces that you can get at Michael's. At least that's where I got them. I'm sure the different craft stores have them. This is a geranium. Then this here is a rub-on from Architectures from Seven Gypsies. And so that's what that is, and so are the bugs, the ants. I used a old hinge that came off of a kitchen cabinet that we had torn down a long time ago from our kitchen where we redid the whole kitchen. I saved a bunch of these, so I used that, and then the little clothespin. And my thought process was everything that has to do with the garden. This would be like the garden, I mean the hinge to the gate, hanging out your clothes, flowers, so forth. That was my thought process. So I originally wanted this to swing open, but it didn't. I wasn't able to do that because the first time I swung it, this is so old, it just cracked and fell apart. So I had to stabilize it. So what I did is I put it on, backed it with this handmade paper. So that's what this is here. So I incorporated a lot of the ideas that I've been enjoying, which may be in the first part of the video or not. I'm not sure, but I'll recap it. That I wanted to use the napkins, and I did that. And then what I did is I sewed on the selvage on the edge of this particular page. And then I put the hinge like I did. If you follow me in my groups or my other videos, this is the same hinge that I did in the swap that we made the napkin journal. So, same process. Now I had the papers from Canvas Core that had these beautiful spring pictures on them. So what I did is I cut them all out, and I wanted to leave them blank, so this can also be a coloring book for my swap partner. So she can come back in and she can color all of these. And this is all handmade paper that this is on, and she could always write, she can do watercolor, or she can just leave it blank, whatever she wants to do. But these would look really nice in either watercolor or in pencil. And here is the selvage pockets and selvage on the ends. So she'll have plenty to color, interactive. Oops, upside down. So if you're going to start a project that you're going to sew, make sure you don't break your sewing machine. I still don't know what happened, but it's sewing okay now. I took it in to be repaired, and they were going to charge me more than I paid for the machine. So I brought it home, and my husband did his guy thing by tearing it apart and putting it back together again, and not really knowing what he was doing. And of course it worked. So I'm not going to complain. And again, this is all handmade paper that's on. And then the back hinge. And all I did was put some fabric back here. And that's it. It would have been very simple had I not had all the distractions, but I think it's kind of cute. I like the way it came out. It looks to me very springy and from the garden. And don't forget to hang out your clothes if you can out in the springtime. And I hope she enjoys it. I hope she does. She waited long enough for this. And I hope it inspires you to try something a little different.